So our next show is Parks and Rec. Yay!
Okay, flipping.
Vanessa didn't say one.
Oh, close. Okay.
Hi.
Well, you, I think, still have some of the "it's new to me" glow.
Oh,
Is that? Is that not accurate?
maybe.
No, I'm curious.
I mean, but it's weird because it's not. It's new to me in the sense that I've only been watching it for a year and a half at this point.
You caught up pretty fast.
Right, but I've still seen it all. So
I know.
So it's one of those things where it's new to me, but at the same time, because we weren't grading it against itself.
Right.
It was very much one of those things where, like, there's no other comedy on TV that makes me feel this way. Like, I love it. I want to go live in Pawnee. I want to go, like, be adopted by Ben and Leslie if Ben doesn't have a twin somewhere that's the same exact person as him. We've already discussed my love.
Let's not
for
jump
Ben.
the shark, though. We don't want him to have a
I don't
twin
need to be on
that's the same-
screen.
No, I don't mean that, but, like, if you were to suddenly have a brother that's, like,
It doesn't
amazing
need to be on
like
screen.
him.
If I'm living in
Oh,
Pawnee,
okay,
we can be
okay.
off in a corner house somewhere.
I
It's
see.
not being
Okay.
shown at all. I don't need. No. But no, I mean, I feel like it's still the show that I consistently look to. I can't think of a moment where I finished an episode where I was like, that was bad, or that wasn't great. Like, I feel like with every other show, definitely every other comedy this year, I feel like there's been an episode or two at least where I've been like, that wasn't what that did not hit the right notes, there was something wrong with it, etc., etc. That's very judgy, but still. And I think after watching so many just terrible comedies, and having that show and having Parks and Rec made me feel like more than almost any other show. I mean, Ben and Leslie's wedding, and just Ben and Leslie in general are just amazing, and I think Ron Swanson is just the greatest. I love it so much. I just want to hug all of them, like their characters. I'm not gonna be creepy with the actors. I'm just like, I want to hug all those. I like Leslie Knope. I got upset watching the finale when they were like trying to impeach her. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like, she is the greatest.
I mean, I don't disagree with anything that you've said. So that's why I still think it's funny that we didn't give it the same grade. Because, like, I don't disagree with anything.
Minus.
Yeah, A minus, A.
I know.
Like, it's not the same.
I know.
But I don't...
There's the but.
No, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. There has to be a but. But I loved the season as on its own. I loved where they took... Obviously, Ben and Leslie's relationship. I loved where they took Ron, and he actually had a relationship. I loved April and Andy, as usual. I even liked Tom's clothing business, although I will say that at the end
Rent
there.
a swag.
Yeah, but I was like, at the end there with the competing business, I was like...
I'm wondering who that's going to be.
But I also feel like that... Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to be driving the comedy next season. Like, who is it? Who do we know already that's going to be doing that?
Well... When they first started doing that in that episode, I kind of thought that was their way to get back to the Parks Department, which upset me greatly because I was like, I like that they're able to go off and do their things and still come together and for the show as friends, whatever, I don't know. I don't feel like I need to justify the minus. I just feel like it's a great show. I absolutely look forward to it every week, and I save it for the last as like the reward for getting through everything else that I have to do that day. I usually end up watching it again the next morning because I just love it so much. But nothing is perfect, and there's still room for it to grow. So I didn't want to like give it an A and be like, you're done. You're done. No,
I didn't give it an A+.
Okay, but still, I mean...
Grading, Danielle. Do you understand how grading works?
I do understand how grading works, but I'm saying, like, this is what an A- is like a 90 versus, like, a 95 or 99, right? So, like, there's room for it to grow, and I will say that, like, without grading it against previous season finales, looking at this season finale as a whole, I wanted a little something more from it. I mean, I loved the start of what they did with Leslie, but I felt like they could have and maybe should have gone a little further with it. Maybe they're holding back for next season. I know, and maybe they're holding back, but I liked the attitude of the previous seasons where, they didn't know if they were coming back, so they put it all on the line. And like, I feel like they might have gotten a little comfortable this year. And that's part of why it's an A- and not an A. I loved what they did. I loved them comfortable, but I still like the risk. Like, for example, and I'll just say this is my personal want, I guess, when in the finale, Leslie's asking everybody, are you better off? Are you better off now than you were a year ago? She never once asked herself that, and I kind of started like her discouragement with what she was experiencing from the town. I was like, maybe you should ask yourself that. Maybe all these dreams you had of being in politics, are they worth it? Like, maybe that's somewhere I want to see your character go. The struggle of, do I really want the position I've been working for this whole time? And maybe I'm projecting because this is where I am in my life. But I like that like character struggle. And for a character like that, who is so type A, and like her binders, and I just see so much room for it, that I wanted her to at least turn the lens on herself to set up where it could go for next year.
I mean, I feel like that will be at some point addressed.
I know. I just wanted it to like shine the light now and then explore it later. Right. But everything else I loved. I loved that Ron could be a dad. Like, I didn't think that they were going to keep Diane around. So maybe it's going to turn out to be a false positive,
I feel like
whatever.
It's a weird thing in that it almost was like a cheat because she's not a series regular.
But I mean, who else was it going to be?
Well,
I didn't think it would have been anybody else. I mean, it could have been April.
Or it could have been Anne.
But I loved, I don't love the whole Chris and Anne are back together having a baby story. It's fun for now, but I don't necessarily want them to stay together.
I want to see Chris be a father. I feel like seeing that.
But they can have a baby and not be together.
But
I liked it more when they were just trying to have a baby and not start dating. But now that they've started dating, I feel like the baby might take a little bit of a back seat.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, my thing is, I just feel like it's always a risk when you pin huge character developments on a guest star. I mean, obviously it's a thing where she could definitely be off screen and he could still have a kid, whatever. We don't need to see her, but at the same time, it's like, it's hard because you always see guest stars them like, oh, we plan to have this person around for 6 episodes next season. Guess what? They just landed a movie, or they landed this, or they landed that, and it's like,
But regardless of what happens to her, like, I like what it sets up for him because he's so set. Like, every time we've seen him interact with kids, like from way back in the day when that little girl came looking to interview somebody, to letting Diane's daughters dress him like a princess, like, I love it. So like, what if he has a son that doesn't want to be into woodworking, or what if he has a daughter? Like, I mean, I love it.
The only sad thing about that is that we probably won't actually see it.
No, I know, but like, I can imagine it, and I can write fan fiction off in the world of Tumblr, where apparently that's all everybody does, because I stumbled upon a bunch of fan fiction when I was looking for a GIF the other day, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Anyway.
Oh, I have to tell you something that I found on Tumblr, which is the most disturbing thing ever. And on that note, we're going to stop.